Okay. Online, we have Bob Baker and Jerry Little.
First on the agenda, approve the minutes of 10/22/24.
I move that we approve the minutes of 10/22/24.
I second it.
All in favor?
I,
Board of Assessors. We need to hear from the board.
I don't know. Why was the Board of Assessors on the agenda?
About the,
First right refusal?
no, the tax. The mixed tax rate. Yeah.
Well,
So
there was an email that was sent to Gina and the assessors about all the options that people have in town for making decisions around taxes. And I responded to that saying that I think that there ought to be
An education.
an education program about what the options are and how we want to structure our taxes. And to try to figure out if the split rate is in our interest or not. And
Yeah, but that didn't require any action in the short term, did it?
No, they were gonna
No,
meet.
I got the Board of Assessors here to say that the first right of refusal.
Oh.
That's all that was.
Oh, because the state tax rate thing has to go to town meeting anyway, and then we'd have to write warrant.
but before all that happens, I think that.
They were gonna do some research and thought they were gonna be on
Gonna
that
do the
agenda.
research. It's
The
the
Board of
day.
Assessors.
Yeah.
Board of the Assessors.
I mean, it just was Ronnie and
Okay.
Well, and this is on the first right of refusal for Michael Crane, Campbell Road.
I vote that we sign the document that, vote that we vote no to exercise our said option.
I said it.
All in favor?
I,
Next on the list, Broom Street Host Community Agreement for 27 Broom Street discussion.
So I, Chris, Nick, are 27 Broom Street. We sat down after our meeting here 2 weeks ago and met with Heather, got our questions answered, squared away, paid about half of what was owed, and expect to be here in the state for next month.
As far as the community agreement, we can wait for them to catch up on their taxes or.
well, I think that, I wanna go back and do the community agreement again. I know you said that one before, but I haven't done that yet. Because what's changed?
There is no community impact fee, and I believe this is more standard template that the state provides at this point now, and CCC kind of expects us to use.
Okay. I mean, that's what I thought it was, and it's all the result of their changing the ground laws for the community agreements.
So this is their standard template. I understand there's. We could sign this one, we could rewrite our own one, or there's the possibility to sign a waiver around it.
What would the waiver do?
Nothing good for us,
Oh,
as far as I know, but I think those are the three options. There's the template. Rewriting our own, which would just get costly, lawyers, I would assume, and the option for
when you say nothing would be, what is
If we don't have, so if we don't have a community agreement, we don't get a license again, and if we don't get a license,
There's no point in that.
if, yeah, the law.
Yeah, okay. That's what I was asking. The waiver is, it means that you don't get a license.
Yeah, as far as I understand.
Okay,
So if we get the template, I don't know if you guys send it to us or.
no, we've got it. They
You got
sent it to us a while ago, yeah. They sent it to us not a long time ago.
Do you have a copy of that?
I do on my computer at home.
Well, sometime can it?
I can. I can.
That's fine.
Yeah, this is the one the CCC is giving out to all of their license holders, I say, hey, go back to your town with this one, this is gonna be legal, compliant for you guys.
And how can we get access to the old one, just to compare it?
It was in the agenda of the meeting that we were just, I think it was in last meeting's agenda. You had both the original agreement and also the proposed new agreement, so you could side by side compare.
There might be a copy of it here.
Sorry,
I might have a copy of it here.
let's do it out. In fact, we don't have to do it within the context of this meeting, because we aren't gonna read the whole thing today. I mean,
Okay, well, I have,
Yeah, so we can go over that. Next month or so, caught up on your taxes,
what,
shooting for the first of the year to get.
I would
Always for-
before that.
when do you have to have something to the Cannabis Commission in order to get your license renewed? Or when does your license expire?
It's expired already.
Oh.
And we have one extension we filed already, and I believe by the middle of December, if we don't have another one, we file another extension, which would be good to March.
All right, well, we'll try to,
Realistically,
you want it done before the middle of December.
yeah.
Our next, select board meeting, we're gonna be ready for Thanksgiving.
Well, if we're gonna have one today,
We could
Yeah, we could-
make a decision tonight.
yeah.
Alright, that works for us, and like I said, we'll stay in contact with Heather and make sure she knows where we're at and everything.
good,
Good. Friday, we'll stop down in there and see where we go.
that's good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you guys, thank you.
Okay. You can stay if you want, you don't have to.
And an hour and a half right home, so. Oh, we go. Thank you guys very much.
All right, thank you.
Next on to the ARPA funds discussion. I think Judy here, one of them sent an email saying they can't allocate the funds.
Yeah, they won't be able to have anything under contract before the deadline, so,
I had a recommendation where to put it.
all right.
Peter, whatever Peter's got left that he didn't get,
That was for the Village Green project.
yeah, and the rest on fire.
I agree. Do we need to, was that, no, you can't make fun. I move that we reallocate the unspent or uncommitted ARPA funds to first, the remaining, well, we ought to make sure that Peter can get a contract by that. We
Well,
will,
we have, what, 3 weeks or whatever to finalize it, so if Peter doesn't have anything by then.
if Peter doesn't have a contract by the next select board meeting, we're just gonna allocate the remaining money from our funds to pay down the fire truck debt. That's my motion.
I would like to.
Oh, wait a minute, no, Sandy wants something to.
Yes, I would like some. We do have, I would just like to say that I think we've spent our money very prudently. And we've done an awful lot of work. A lot of it has been volunteer work. We've actually saved from donations of materials, over $3,000. That's not counting time that people have taken in order to, install, sand and paint and donated other stuff too. We are getting more and more people at the park. And we are doing many, many more things in the park. And I don't think I would pay to ask for $3,500 to finish up the whole field. And I really don't think $3,500 is gonna make a big difference on fire truck payment. That's just my opinion.
That's fair. I think that the one thing I'm gonna say is, the reason the money is available is because we have to either have receipts, or we have to have a contract with a licensed contractor.
Got it.
Got it? Okay, great.
Have it. I can have it
Yeah,
next week if I need it.
All right, I would like to amend my motion and say that we allocate $3,500 to the recreation committee for the Plainfield Park project. And the balance is going to be applied to the fire truck debt.
Give Peter an opportunity, he was short some money to finish that.
Yeah, I'll call him, so that's what I'm gonna offer him.
Right. Whatever the difference was that he couldn't get,
Right.
and the rest would just.
Yeah.
Peter was, according to this, short about 3,000, he hasn't spent about $4,000.
Well, how much was Bucky Sparkle?
It's almost 3,000.
Okay, I think he has spent a little bit more there, but,
But I also want to say in support of Sandy, that in the one Plainfield, findings where, as far as things were rated, in terms of what the whole town voted for, number one was the pond, number two was the fire truck. Number three was the energy committee, but that got scratched. And then number four was the baseball, and that was even before, and then number five was the website. And I had advocated that some money go there too, so that we had one more year of, costs there covered. And then the village green was second to last,
I'm not surprised, yeah.
Yeah.
so,
Somebody's raising their hand.
okay, there's Karen. Karen, you're on, go ahead.
Question, please.
You're muted.
We're not hearing you though.
I am unmuted. Hello.
Now we can hear you.
Okay. If the ARPA money is allocated to the fire truck, does that jeopardize the potential $600,000 grant? For school budget?
Yeah, no, it won't at all.
I didn't hear.
It will not at all, because that's just a drop in the bucket. Compared to the debt on the fire truck.
Thank you.
We allocated all to.
So we just.
Whatever Sandy needs.
Well, I move that we allocate $3,500 of the leftover ARPA money to the ballpark project, to the ball field project. And the balance will be decided in 2 weeks at our next select board meeting, when we know whether or not.
Peter can spend all the money or.
Right.
And how much will then go to the fire truck that transfer? I second that motion.
Leland.
Yes, it's Leland Madison on Fifth Summit Street, so I just have one question, what is the amount total that's available now?
12,500 or something like that.
Yeah,
It's,
it's the whole Plainfield pond.
Yes, 12,000.
Right, but is
right,
there?
but there's also some other unspent money.
Oh, there's
That's the
like
question.
$300 from broadband,
Uh-huh.
there's.
And that might need to be updated at this point.
I think it probably does, because
And 1,500 for the
website
website.
and and 3,900 from the Village Green project that hasn't been spent of what was allocated. But I mean, the big chunk is really Plainfield Pond money, because they can't use any of it at this point in time. They couldn't have, they can't meet the conditions they commitment before the deadline that we have to have it in order to keep that money. So we want to put it somewhere else. We can use it.
So by next meeting, we'll get an update of what's left.
Mhm.
Talk to Peter, and then we'll get it all done and over with.
Yeah,
And I can bring the contract in next week. I
Yeah,
mean,
next
next
week,
meeting.
yeah,
For you to sign.
yeah.
All in favor?
Uh,
Can I hang on to this ongoing, or whoever I need to get this updated? Sure.
send me copies.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I better get
Status of the fire truck. Hasn't showed up yet.
We're still
Oh,
waiting.
they're waiting, a couple parts or something holding it up, but they've been in communication, some miscommunication and it should be here shortly.
Most people don't that.
Yeah,
And Chief Sure is on top of that.
yes.
He is. In fact, he's all
Yeah.
over. He's getting stuff.
In fact, he still has to check,
And then again,
and they're not getting it.
Until we hit
Yes,
the,
delivered.
right.
Delila Madison on Fifth Summit Street. I just want to take this opportunity to say, as somebody that was very close to a fire here in Plainfield, that our firefighters need all the updated equipment, all the like support that they can get. They were amazing. They were super professional, very swift on on time. We had so much help and support from other towns. It was an incredible response for a pretty scary moment. And so I just want to publicly say, thank you for that, and I'm glad that the firefighters are getting the equipment and what they need to continue to provide that resource and support for our town. It's
Did
a
you
big
see him
deal.
on the evening news that night?
I did, I saw them on the evening
He
news.
also represented the town in an exemplary fashion.
Absolutely,
He was
yeah,
fabulous.
yeah, that was incredible, and the other firefighters that were supporting us were unbelievable as well, yeah, thanks.
Thank you. And then, voice over internet phone system updates.
The update is that it was going to be installed this coming Thursday, and it's been postponed a week because they have to actually transfer the porting of the numbers from the old fields to novice. And there's like a 2-week requirement once they get all their information, and that didn't get in on time. So there's a new date of next Thursday, November 21st, for the installation.
And have they sorted out the reinstatement of the copper wire line that was in the radio room public safety
As
complex?
far as I know, Brian Hawthorne was gonna take charge of that, and I have not gotten an update.
Okay.
But this is something to let everybody who's listening right now know that there is a phone number, I think it's 634-5012. And that phone number should always be active because it's an emergency management phone number. What happens is if the dispatcher in Northampton, for some reason, their line goes down, they have a connection to Cummington. If Cummington goes down, the backup is Plainfield. And so that actually happened during our last ice storm. And the dispatcher tried to get up here to use that phone, but couldn't because the roads were all so icy and all the trees were down. They couldn't actually physically get to the building. But that's what the purpose of that number is.
Okay.
And somehow, the bill didn't get paid and it got disconnected. And so had there been an emergency of some kind, we would have found out in that moment that we had no dispatch number. I'm just saying, it's important to put that in the institutional knowledge of the town.
Yep. That's why I asked that.
Okay, thanks, Polly. On to the EEA's Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program Grant, possible funding for culvert work next year. You were working on that, or setting up a meeting type thing.
Actually met with, one of the people who, administers those grants. It was, myself and Peter and, Robert, were you there? Bob? No, okay. Oh yeah, it's Conrad. And this is actually, the town of Plainfield has gone through and qualified for the municipal vulnerability project 0.10. And soon we're gonna qualify or be asked to enroll in 2.0. And what that does for us is it gives us rolling grant money. I mean, we can put in as many grants as we want to do whatever projects are needed that in some way, to address municipal vulnerabilities to climate change. And one of those is heavy rains, washing out roads, because there are culverts, redoing dirt roads that get completely mudded in the springtime. And so this is something that's really worth staying on top of. And another reason we need a grant administrator in town. Someone who could write up these proposals and get them submitted, and so far we've actually put in 2. And we've gotten a total of $55,000 to do Bow Street and some culverts there, and to do the preliminary assessment, which was done back in 2018. And it's on our website if anybody wants to look at it.
I think more than a grant, I don't think we need a grant writer per se, because typically you need the expertise of the people who actually run the department or the program is applying for the grant. We just need grant traffic clearinghouse, so that we aren't competing with ourselves
Same brand.
for the same grant. And so that there is centralization in terms of both knowing how much money we've gotten from grants, because I know the finance committee is interested in tracking that. Because we don't know, grants don't show up in the town budget, but it is definitely a source of funding for the town. And if we're gonna do a comprehensive job as a finance committee, we need to get all the sources of income now. And also in terms of tracking and reporting. So we need a person whose hands every grant that is submitted by Plainfield passes through. So they can set up some system to track it all. But I think the writing is always going to be distributed to the person with the greatest expertise.
Well, right now, the committees that would be participating in writing these grants. They are all have vacancies. So of them, like the energy committee doesn't even pass 2 people, and it can't even have a meeting, so it doesn't matter.
For the golf course, I bet you anything Mark would do having.
Oh, Mark.
That grant.
Mark wants to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only the committees, it's also the departments. I mean, the police department writes grants. We know that the fire department writes grants. Well, between the police, fire, and highway, you've got the 3 largest budgeted departments in the town. So.
But I have a
just wanna-
thing. It's Jack. Jack
Oh,
Nelson.
sorry. I can't see you on the screen, so I didn't know you were even here. But sure, go ahead, Jack.
Okay, Jack Nelson, Pleasant Street. In the past, they've offered training on how to do these grants. And I actually attended one of those sessions some years ago. And at that time, they encouraged the highway supervisors to do the grant applications. Now, that may have changed.
Sorry.
The requirements are still pretty much the same. Stream crossing requirements are pretty defined through the DEP, so that you have to follow those regulations when you do this.
Mark was very current on all of that stuff. He wrote a couple of grants this summer, one that got us the money to finish the last layer on Prospect Street, and then another one that he worked with Hillary on that one. And got a second grant to do repairs on, West Street. So he's definitely knowledgeable about the requirements and capable of writing the grants.
West Street's gonna be repaired next year,
Starting in May.
starting in May. There's $450,000 in that grant just for West Street, and I believe Eversource is gonna cover the balance.
And when you say repaired, you mean, paving or?
Just like they did the Prospect.
Have you looked at Prospect Street?
Fabulous.
It'll
It'll
be
be
like
just
that.
like that, it'll be,
The whole way or
all
just?
just from that, where they finished that last section of nice blacktop all the way to the coming to plant.
Because I'm here to say that he did an amazing job. And kudos to our new highway superintendent. There is not a pothole on West Street anymore. And for years, I had to, drive around potholes and the shadows would cover them up, and he's got every single pothole. He's done an amazing job on West Street.
He's a miracle worker.
And I'm interested to hear that you had a grant to do that.
Well, he hasn't got, that he was doing out of his budget. But he got a grant to repave that section of West Street that's causing so many problems.
My house on down to coming.
That's correct, Judy.
Okay. Terrific.
Yeah.
And that will be done next summer,
May, starting in May,
starting in May.
or as soon as the weather's good.
Judy,
Terrific.
why don't you introduce yourself? and
I'm Judy Gowdy from West Street. And I've lived with a pretty horrible road for many years. And so this has just been terrific.
Yeah.
I can't say that about River Road. It's first year, 50 years, it's never been scraped. But that pothole, they just put stones in it. Instead of coming back and putting material, now we're all the way into November. They can't do anything. Well, I don't know what roads are selected to be worked on and what's not. But I had to have the highway ambulance come this summer. And they said we should do something before the time and try to get that road fixed. Really hard to get the bus done.
That's good to know. I think that at least from the conversations I've had with the highway department, their priority has been the roads that, were in the worst shape, had the most traffic, and were at risk of having to be rebuilt from the very foundation up. And they were trying to save as much of that, those roads as they could first. They've also gone around and done many dirt roads, but I think it has to do with how many houses are on them. And,
They'll get to them all, it's just,
yeah,
a lot of fires and burnings and.
there's just been a lot of, he walked into 10 years of nobody maintaining anything from his part.
Right.
And he's chipping away at it as quickly as he can based on what the traffic load is, what the quality of the road is, and how many people live on that road.
Do I say something?
Sure.
Because he spent a lot of time restoring South Union Street, which closed that road. All the traffic went on River. And it just seemed to me that we are going to close off a road, that at least you'd spend, it only takes a day or two to straighten that road. That you repair that road before you start to think about trucks. And it really, the road is terrible. I've never seen this. I mean, it's a 5 mile and
All right, well, we'll talk.
Any other questions? On the miscellaneous mail and meeting notices, email from the fire chief regarding a fire ban. We all know I'm not burning right now. And then Sheila, very interested in being a member of the Conservation Commission. She interested, I didn't get an email
We have a
about it.
letter.
I heard from Judy Williams, wants to be now.
Okay, so you gotta make a motion for them committee.
Oh, okay.
I got a physical letter this today of the desk.
Says interested, so she wants to be on the committee. Commission.
As far as I know, that's what it is, and it's
That's what it says.
It just says interest. That lots of interest, doesn't mean.
I think, and you said Judy Williams is the chair of that?
yeah, as far as I know, she's
Well,
wants to be a member.
All right, she wants to give my work committee letter B.
right,
I wish there were a way we could have some sort of pathway, because there are some committees that have lots of people and other committees that have nobody. And, well, can't hold meetings, they can't get a forum. I'd like to strike a deal and say, yeah, conservation commission, but you have to be on the energy committee too.
You probably wouldn't do it.
Standardized form that people, you know,
Right,
read and use. To become a part of the committee so that there's no
And you could-
ambiguity
And you
about,
could list all the.
I want to
committees.
be on the committee. And that can be right on.
Can I have a word? Can I have a word, please? Jack
Sure.
Nelson speaking. Please. Please assign her to the Conservation Commission. We're having a problem sometimes getting a quorum. This is pretty important and she's a good candidate. So that's my endorsement.
I move that we appoint, was it Sheila Berry?
yeah,
Sheila Berry to the Conservation Commission.
I second
you.
it.
all in favor?
I. Now, somebody needs to follow up and tell her that we did this.
Right.
There's been some confusion about that with us.
I will email her tomorrow.
Okay, great, thank you.
Bob and Sally Silverberg logging project on River Road.
I wrote a letter to the select board a few weeks ago. I'm not sure if ever got passed on. I can read my letter.
I don't remember seeing it.
I
Okay.
never saw it.
So
I saw it, I responded to you.
I think I
I think I responded to you today, so you might have gotten that.
During the meeting on October 8th, we were advised that the logger we have hired to do our project, Dave Latchway, will have to sign a Plainfield town contract, yet unwritten, that will make him actually, that's us, because whatever he has to say comes out of our pocket. Responsible for any damages to the road. Since then, I've been in contact with Allison Wright Hunter, who is the master forester for our region. So she would like to remind the board, there is a right to farm bylaw permitting forestry in Plainfield, and the request is outside of what the law defines. That the request is hindering access to your property and your timber quote. And we feel that regardless of what the town eventually decides, this project is ready to begin. It was started back in 2021, and we've been waiting for a logger and should be grandfathered. So,
But have you talked to Dave?
yes, we've been talking.
Yeah, Mark went and talked to him 2 weeks ago,
Right.
and they just come up with like a thing that the road's not good, he's not gonna truck logs.
Well,
You-
I
you- you
understand,
can't-
but that isn't Rye's understanding.
You
Rye
can't
just
ruin a
said it
road.
was going to
A
be,
town road logging.
well, it's a dirt road to begin with.
Right. And then when it reaches a certain point of being muddy, you get weight restrictions, and you can't let it, so Mark and Dave came to an understanding on how
Is
the.
that how you understood it from Dave?
Hi, Ray Batten, South Union Street. My understanding is that David Lashway hasn't seen a contract yet.
No, we don't have it, but Mark
The
went and
law-
talked to him verbally.
The lawyer
and they
is
come up with
drafting it. I've spoken with the lawyer and I'm waiting to hear back from him with a draft of
But
it.
you can start logging, it's like drier than dry could be dry.
Yes, it's a really good time.
Yeah, I mean, this is the.
We're not trying to hold you up.
No.
But the point is that what the town, yes, you have a right to log your property, but the town also has a right to protect the integrity of the roads that we're investing a lot of money in trying to restore.
I absolutely understand that. Meanwhile, it's a road that hasn't been touched.
I know.
Yeah, but
So it's
No,
kind of a touchy
No, the
situation.
agreement is that they can bring the trucks in from West Hill
Right.
down River Road.
And then
And then they
South
have to
Union.
go up South Union, and South Union has been touched.
Okay.
And so and that's largely because of the weight restrictions on the bridge.
Right.
The bridge on River Road could not handle a fully loaded logging truck, whereas the bridge on South Union can. And so it's really with respect to the road that we just fixed up last summer. It's not the whole thing. And it's a great opportunity. I would also add, Sally, it's a great opportunity to document, because, I mean, that was one of the questions, you know, how do you determine what damage was there before and, you know, what damage was done right? So take photographs of all of that, and then there's a document that says, okay, and by the way, this is what we need to fix. Okay.
I mean,
Right,
some stuff's
the town
gonna
needs-
happen, but I mean, it gets to be a foot of mud or something, I mean, you just can't.
Well, I mean, I think that everybody uses common sense in theory.
Not all logger stuff does.
All right, well, we're assuming that Dave Lashaway is a good logger.
Yes, he is. He's not really a logger, he's a sawyer and he
Right.
runs a mill. So,
So,
And my understanding of the agreement is that Mark and David are gonna be in really close contact with each other.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Mark-
they've
Mark-
known each other for years too, so they,
Yeah.
all right,
I mean,
so we're set to go.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Start.
Wasn't what we thought.
This is the best time before mud season comes.
Yes.
My father's logger says there's 6 inches of powder in the woods right now, it's just so dry.
Mhm.
He's working in Chesterfield.
That's the one thing to be cautious about, though. Don't have any sparks in the woods. We don't want a wildfire starting near your house.
I know.
I'll stand there with my hose.
Yeah, he's last I heard, he was starting late November, early December or something, that was the initial idea,
Okay.
Yeah.
so,
So go for it.
yeah,
Go for it with them trees.
hopefully the ground freezes and
Okay.
lasts all winter.
So,
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
And we'll be adjourned.
Does anybody online have their hand raised? Or have a question? As I can't see everybody. No? Okay,
I will be adjourned.
No.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Next time. Till next time.
I'm gonna. You. Me too. That gets on the wrap.